All right, welcome back to the KnivesFast channel. It is time for the Knife Professor class number 2, the basics continued. So I didn't have, you guys know I'm the KnivesFast channel, so I'm trying very hard to get through this stuff quick. There was a lot left to go through, so here we are continuing some of the basics. We'll get right into it. Say hi to Ren and Stimpy, and thanks for coming along, guys. So the first thing I want to talk about is jimping. I talked a little bit about this last time, but you can see here there are different types of jimping. Jimping is basically, in this case, slots in the steel, or in some cases, they even, acting as jimping is this plastic handle that has slots in it, but you also have the metal cuts here, and it's just anything cut into a knife, and in this case there's some under here. There's different styles, of course, of jimping. There's jimping on this liner lock right here, not really easy to see there because it's black. There's jimping here, and it's basically anything to aid with grip. Sometimes we'll tell you that we feel like the jimping is just for looks because it doesn't feel like it does much. In this case, this is the Benchmade mini bug out. There's no jimping up here on the spine of the blade, by the way. This part of the blade is called the spine, the back of the blade. And, in most cases when I'm gripping, I'm not even touching this jimping back here. So it's not a lot of use for me in that case. Not really. And so we'll sometimes say, oh, there's jimping there, but it's not really useful. So that's what jimping is. The next one is choils. We use the term choil. A choil is a cutout where your finger can go, and or a cutout to aid in sharpening. So, for example, this particular, again, the Benchmade mini bug out, you can see at the back of the blade, there is a cutout in the blade. That cutout is so that when I sharpen, I do not cut into the edge of the end of the blade there, which we'll get into what that is later. But pretty much all of these knives on the table, let's see, who doesn't? Oh, look at that. Here's one without one. This is good. So in this particular case, no, there's a really small, not really, but there's a really small choil at the end. But the blade, actual sharpened part of the blade ends before that. And what you'll end up with as you sharpen this more and more is a cutout in there that just isn't useful like sharpening normally. So most knives you'll see that cutout there where you can just end the sharpen and be done with it and fall off. So it's just super duper useful. Let's see, how about this guy? I hadn't even paid attention. Yeah, not really. There's not really a sharpening choil. Again, I've only sharpened this one time, and I haven't boogered it up, so hopefully it'll be fine. So next one we wanted to, and I didn't talk about finger choil. So in this particular case, this is what we call a forward finger choil. So this is actually a choil as well right here. This guy allows my finger either to lock in like this or to lock in like that. It's just a cutout to get your finger into. What I love is what's called a forward finger choil. Guys, look at that. Just takes your finger and gives you a great forward grip where you can really go in and deal with that. You see several knives on the table with one. The Paramilitary 2, it has kind of one that goes both between the scales and the blade itself, and so does boy, why am I blanking the Maddox? I wanted to say Minax. I don't know why. There's a weed knife named that. And so that just locks you in, guys. These are my favorite knives. As a matter of fact, another great example, pardon me while I lean down, is the Pilar. Really small knife, and if I had to grip it back here, it wouldn't be very comfortable, but I can get up here in that finger choil and really grip well. So to me, that is great. So the next one is, we talk about blade stock and spines and crown. So when we talk about blade stock, and this is the perfect knife to do this with, the GM2 from Giant Mouse, the blade stock is the piece of steel that the blade was cut out of. And so then in this case, this is the spine. And you'll notice the spine of this one looks different than the spine of, say, this one. The spine of this one is just sort of flat, okay? And this one is what's called a crowned spine. So you can see where that is rolled off to give you nice, soft landing spot. Again, you get into that jimping, and it is just great. So the next part of that is the swedge, okay? So in this case, a swedge is where that blade stock is then thinned out to lighten the blade and to also give you, in this case, an easier entry point for a stab or whatever into a box or into whatever. Let's see, do I have another good example? Yeah, here we go. So there's a swedge on this knife. It's where the blade is thinned out, so it's fatter back here, and then it's thinned out in that spot. Another good one, you can see that, if I can get it to, there we go. You can see where this is thinned out on this Finch Tacuna, and it is thinned out. Now that helps with weight. It helps with the looks of the knife, obviously, and it's just a very useful thing. So I think that's basically all I wanted to. Oh, one more thing. I wanted to talk about chamfering. I used the word chamfering. I used the word rolling off. Guys, what we're referring to when we talk about that is a lot of knives have where the edges of the material, in this case titanium, in this case G10, are rolled over or chamfered so that it doesn't dig into your hand. We have gotten knives from time to time that people don't do that, and it feels blocky and boxy in your hand. In this case, nice and smooth. It's not going to bother your hand. Nice and clean on either side. Just really well machined and well done. So I've gone not terribly long this time. So, basically the basic terms we used today were jimping. We talked about choils. We didn't talk about, there was one more thing I wanted to talk about, so it's good I have a little more time. Lanyard holes. So, guys, you notice there's a lot of knives on the table here, and not one of them has a lanyard on. I'm not a big lanyard person. I had a lanyard on one of my knives for a while, and I just didn't dig it. A lot of people do, and knives will either have lanyard holes, some will have lanyard posts. In this case, there is no lanyard hole. They're just for example, for me, I would like them on a smaller knife, especially a knife where my hand might come off the back of the knife, and you can have a nice thick lanyard back here for the rest of your fingers to rest on. And so that's what a lanyard is. That's why there's lanyard holes in knives. Some will be an actual part of the back spacer like this, and some will just be cut into the handle material like this. And there's just all kinds of different ways of doing a lanyard post, a lanyard hole. So hopefully that's helpful. Guys, I know there's going to be questions. Please share this with your friends that are new to knives. And hopefully this will be a series that can keep going. Next time, we're going to talk about blade shapes. The differences in blade shapes. Don't have a lot of good examples. There's a lot of the same shapes here, although there are a couple different ones. But we're going to save that for next time. And please share this. Guys, let me know what you think. And thanks so much for watching the KnivesFast channel.